Welcome back to Girl Boss SA, where we are all about giving you the tools to tap into your magic. Like I said in the previous video, I'm going to be doing a Q&A. So you guys sent through a lot of questions. Okay, so the first question I'm seeing here comes from Adonai_Venus. So this question says, is Christ in African spirituality? Christ is not in African spirituality. Christ is a colonial concept. The story of Christ was adapted from the story of Heru. The story of Heru predates Christianity in itself by like 3,000 plus years. He's the first story of Immaculate Conception. His mother was a virgin, his mother Osset, and the story of the Virgin Mary comes from Osset, who is now called Isis in Greek mythology. I have spoken about the story, I think, in a previous Girl Boss video, where I go into detail about Heru and the Syrian mythos, the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Child. Heru is the child. The Son, S-O-N, comes from the Son, S-U-N. To answer the question, Christ is not in African spirituality. The process of indoctrination into Christianity came with a lot of violence and a lot of fear-mongering and Bible bashing. We learned how to operate in our own spirituality as African people under the banner of Christianity. My process of unlearning Christianity happened when I think it was around 2018 maybe. It was while I was in university and I was living in Manchester, and I think there was kind of a lot of homesickness going on. I naturally started to gravitate towards knowledge and information about our indigenous cultures, who we are as African people and where we're coming from, because we don't learn those things in school. School doesn't really teach us about pre-colonial African history. In history, we learned about apartheid, Shaka Zulu. We did learn about like Shaka Zulu briefly. We're not really taught about African history in school, so we're also not taught about, and I went to a Christian school, so we also had like life sciences, all of these subjects, and Bible studies was one of the subjects that was compulsory for us to learn. It's just part of the indoctrination that we still experience to this day. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with Christianity or Christians or anything like that. Whatever scripture it is that you use to guide you through life, it's about extracting the wisdom from it, right? There is a lot of wisdom in the Bible. There's a lot of wisdom in the Quran. There's a lot of wisdom in like Vedic scripture. So it's just about extracting the wisdom from those scriptures. But I do think that it is important for African people to understand where Christianity comes from and how it was imposed on us. Cool. I don't want to get too preachy. Next question. Yo, by Precious Mgwena. How did you accept your calling? It's such a long story. Okay, so for those of you who maybe might not understand the question, they're referring to my calling as an African traditional healer. It's something that you have to go through rites of passage and processes of initiation to be. In my language, I'm a Sangoma, a Nyanga. We work with the cycles of the sun, but we also fundamentally work with the cycles of the moon. Accepting my calling it's a very long story that maybe I can get into more during a live, but it was just one of those things where I didn't know anything about African spirituality or African traditional healing modalities or indigenous knowledge systems. I knew nothing about any of that for the majority of my life. That only started during that time, like I said, when I was in university. It was just kind of a shift that was happening for me spiritually, messages that I was getting through dreams and things like that. And my goal is never to impose my lessons and the things that I've learned onto others. It's about sharing, and you take for yourself what resonates with you and use that to evolve in your own journey. I hope that answers the question. I don't know how I accepted it, I just did, you know. It was challenging because there's a lot of unlearning that's involved, but it made me who I am, and I'm very grateful for it, and I wouldn't take it back for anything. Next question. How do you interpret your own dreams if you are someone that dreams a lot? Yeah, it's really important to be able to interpret your own dreams. I'm very skeptical about this codependency that we have, where we need others, especially other healers and yangas, to interpret our dreams for us, because there's a standard system, right? Certain symbols and certain things in dreams mean certain things, but it applies differently with different tribes. Tribally, we have different symbols in general, different animal totems. There are nuances and details that differ from tribe to tribe. The most important tool to use when interpreting your own dreams is the feeling. It's about intuition. And then there'll be things that in your dreams also that manifest from your subconscious. So sometimes it's things that you need to heal from, you know, there's things that you need to confront that now you find yourself confronting only in your dreams. And then also there are manifestation dreams where they're telling you about things that are going to happen. And I always encourage writing your dreams down. If you dream journal often, happen, what you'll see is that when you look back at certain dreams, they connect with each other and there's certain messages. And you'll also learn to understand how spirit communicates with you through dreams. It's a very personal thing that can only be fully understood by you. There's no healer or kobela or guru or mentor that's going to fully help you understand your own dreams. A lot of that is self-work. Try not to build a codependency where you're getting someone else to constantly interpret your dreams, because you're going to miss fundamental messages from your spirit guides that are specific for you. I hope that answers that question. I've already spoken too much, I feel like. Next question is from Andiswa Makoba. She says, is fasting an African concept? And if so, what's the right way to do it? Fasting is very African. Breakfast is about breaking your fast. So fasting is a daily exercise. It should be a daily exercise. We call it breakfast because you're basically fasting when you're sleeping. But fundamentally, the best practice would be not to eat first thing in the morning. I know it's going to be very unpopular and it's a very controversial thing to say, because they always say the most important meal of the day is you know what I mean? But breakfast is a very important meal, but it shouldn't be the first thing that you do when you wake up. It's something that I've done for a very long time in my life. I just wake up for food. Like, I wake up excited about food. Eating first thing in the morning is actually a disruption to your body. The thing that you should be doing in the morning is drinking water or have some sea moss. You need to have something that's going to flush out the toxins from the previous day, because your body regenerates while you sleep. Your cells regenerate. So when you wake up, you need to allow for whatever has been cleaned to be flushed out of your system. So you drink water at the beginning of the day. Eating is for like 12, like midday. And I know I probably am going to get a little bit of backlash for saying this, but I mean it. And I know that it's something that's proven to work for me. Whenever I felt like maybe I'm becoming overweight or I feel sluggish, most of those problems were solved by not eating first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning, you drink water. If you also think about the lifestyle of our ancestors, there's no way that they were waking up and stuffing their faces. They had to move. They were agile. They were travelers. When they woke up in the morning, what made sense was to get out into the sun immediately and be outside, make fires, herd the cattle, go do the hunting, do the gathering of crops and veggies, and they were engaging with nature. It doesn't support this thing of stuffing your face first thing in the morning. Fasting is not a religious thing. It can be translated into religious practice and it can be used for religious reasons, but it's something that is just a way of life, that should be a way of life, that you fast for your body's health, for your mental health, for your spiritual health, for your emotional health. Okay, so the next question is from Light Candles ZA. Oh, this is one of my favorite candle companies. This is where I get my candles from. So they're asking, do you still use candles? I know where this question is coming from. It's because I haven't ordered candles probably in like 3 months or something, if not more. Probably more, because I used to order candles by the box. The setup of my life is it's gone through a bit of a transition. I don't use candles as much for the birth chart readings. I do use them a lot for like the bone readings and the tarot readings, and just in my own, personal life. So I'm going to be needing a lot more candles soon, so I will be ordering. And then the next question is from Sihle Nkosi. How do I navigate a spiritual calling with a Christian family? Some families are more understanding than others. Some families are more in touch with their traditions, with their African cultures than others. First and foremost, you are called first to heal the family before anything else. Your calling is first to heal your family and then to heal others. But for those of us who have families that are very resistant, a lot of the time in the beginning, we just find ourselves in a place where we're healing others because our family don't want to hear nothing about that. But with time, they'll warm up to you. And if they don't, that's not something that you put on yourself. You just need to find the pleasure in isolation and the benefits of solitude. It also is about creating a new family, finding your tribe. Give it time, be patient, always operate from a place of integrity, and trust the process. The process is very difficult to trust, but we need to trust it nonetheless. It will always fundamentally send you on a path of healing yourself. I hope that answers the question. The next question is, any womb care suggestions? General womb care is about keeping your womb warm. There's things, I think I'm going to do a proper video on womb care, preventing fibroids and cysts, and also just getting yourself to a place where you're not experiencing as many period cramps. There's certain things that I've started doing that have completely eliminated my menstrual cramps. No more pain. I'll do a video where I talk about womb care, but I'm going to be talking about what I've done to heal my menstrual cramps and my symptoms of cysts and fibroids and things like that. Okay, so the next question is from Yolanda.nia17. Says, Ubuya nini to doing regular lives? Waze wasilahla ntombo. I'm gonna start doing lives again soon. I promise. I stopped, and I tried to get back into it, like also after moving into my place and stuff, but I know that I've been very inconsistent with it because also there's just been a lot going on in my personal life, but I'm consciously making more time for it. The next question is, I'm a Sagittarius. What's my zodiac sign in the southern I'm a Sagittarius, so what's my zodiac sign in the southern hemisphere? I'm gonna start sounding like a broken record, but our star signs we need to interpret through Sidereal Astrology. Sidereal Astrology is what will tell you what your actual star sign is, but your sign, your tropical sign, if you're in the southern hemisphere, your tropical sign will be the opposite of whatever you think it is now. So if you're Sagittarius, it means that your tropical zodiac sign is Gemini. I will do a video on Gemini season during our Gemini season, which occurs in December. I'll get into more detail about it then. I also like to talk about the seasons when we're in the season because it just flows easier, it's more natural, and it's something that can resonate easier because we're in that energy at the time. So I'll get more into that then, but yes, you are a Gemini. A lot of people struggle with the transition. I struggled too. I struggled with the idea of not being a Taurus but being a Scorpio. Understanding the fundamental laws of Scorpio, of Anpu, is what got me to understand who I am. And it resonated on the highest level. It also just helped me to align with my purpose. Understanding your tropical sign just helps you do that. It helps you to navigate with less resistance. What will also help you understand your character and your life path and your strengths, your weaknesses, and how to navigate your being is a full natal analysis. It's very long though. It's a document that I send you that's like 20 plus pages. It's a lot of detail. If you want a natal analysis, you can reach out. There's a number I'm going to put in the description that you can reach out to book a natal analysis, and I'll do that for you, and hopefully that helps you understand who you are a bit more. The next question, how does diet come into play when you want to connect with spirit? The same way that fasting is important, diet is also very important. It feels like an obvious thing to say, but if you eat well, you will be well. If you eat life-enriching foods and nutrient-rich foods, it will enrich your life. Do just try to incorporate a diet into your life that is not so full of animal flesh and animal pus and milk and things like that. We're the only species that drinks the milk of other animals. But you know, it's also, I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. Because I also, you know, every now and then, I also do fall by the wayside. Life is too busy. Healthy food is not always easy to access. Sometimes it's just easier to get fast food. So when you're going to do things like that, also counter that by cleansing in the mornings. Like have some sea moss in the morning, have water in the morning. Whatever level of enlightenment that you're looking for, it's not going to happen if you're stuffing your body with like toxic foods. There are not a lot of questions about astrology here, and it's kind of worrisome. A lot of them are very personal, but you know what? If you ask, I will answer. Okay, thank you. Please speak more about what those of us in the diaspora should do. What do we follow? Should we not be respecting the nature and seasons of where we physically are? Absolutely. Part of Africa is also in the northern hemisphere, so that's why I'm also reluctant to call it the African calendar, because it's nature's cycle and it applies anywhere in the world. So you just need to adjust it to your environment. It's about being in touch with what is around you. Just as we're like now we're in Heru season, in Leo season, in the northern hemisphere you'll be experiencing Ma'at season, which is Aquarius. This is like the balancing of energies, right? It's the restoration of law, order, and balance. It's about aligning with the seasons that you're experiencing. How do we adjust the royal calendar for where we live? For example, I live in North America. Okay, so the calendar it's not a created system, right? It's a system system of nature. It's already there. The Gregorian calendar that we use, that is a calendar that was created. It was created and it was structured according to particular political agendas. So the calendar that I speak about isn't created. It's just about the natural cycle, right? So it's about documenting it, which is what I'm doing, and I'm putting it in a book properly so that you have that for yourself. Because in the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere, we have all the same seasons, we just have them at opposite times. So when I talk about the names of those seasons, those are Kemet-based names. They're from Medu Neter language. They're from Medu Neter, and they speak about the Neteru of the seasons. Neteru is nature, it's the gods of nature. When I use those names, I'm using the names that they used to describe the seasons. The calendar is really about understanding the seasons and the energy of each season and how to utilize that energy for your own healing, growth, and your own progress. In Africa, do we align more with tropical astrology? And if so, if I am born in February, Aquarius, am I still in Aquarius in tropical astrology? Thank you for coming back. Okay, so I just need to understand this question. In South Africa, do we align more with tropical astrology? Everyone aligns with tropical astrology. Tropical astrology is just about the seasons. There's sidereal astrology, which speaks about the placements of the planets, the moon, and the sun. We really do need to understand that tropical astrology is fixed and sidereal astrology is not fixed, because first of all, the constellations shift by 1 degree every 72 years. So already someone that's born on the 9th of May in 2024 has a different star sign to the person that was born on the 9th of May in 1802, because the constellations are actually shifting. And then some constellations are bigger than others. So the sun stays in Pisces for a much longer time than it'll stay in Taurus, because Taurus is like the small and Pisces is like that big. So it's not fixed. So in order to really know your star sign or your sun sign, you need a proper natal analysis, like a natal chart that will tell you exactly where everything is. Because Western astrology, what it does is it just kind of generalizes. You find that there are a lot of misalignments and things that don't resonate with you. Could you please explain to me why, since I was born here in the northern hemisphere, the date of my birth makes me a Capricorn, but on the motherland of Africa I would be a Cancer? I actually have some traits of both signs, but I think more of a Capricorn at this point in my life. Which should I go by, being a Capricorn or a Cancer? So whatever the energy it is that you were born into. So if you were born in the northern hemisphere during Capricorn season, then you're a Capricorn. This is your tropical zodiac sign. It's a different story when we're talking about where was the sun actually placed within the constellations. If you want to understand exactly what you are, I think do a birth chart analysis, but do a full natal charts analysis that will also give you a sidereal placements. You can also reach out, like I keep saying, there's a number I'm going to put in the description that you can reach out for a natal analysis that I can do for you, that will include your tropical sign and your sidereal sun sign and all of your placements, so that you understand every aspect, how the cosmos affects every aspect of your being. Yeah, I'm tired. I've been talking. I've been talking. Thank you for your questions. Thank you so much for your questions. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I'm seeing you guys are actually really subscribing, so thank you so much for that. And yeah, I think I'm done. It's very hot this side. Keep hydrated, keep cool, be healthy, eat well, be good to yourself, love yourself, and I'll see you next time.